Have you ever been somewhere completely new? That feeling when the world just rushes in? It's a total blur of sound, of color, of motion. You feel like you're taking it all in, but are you? Really? And right away, we hit a paradox. Our senses are working overtime, feeding us this endless stream of information. But seeing isn't the same as knowing, is it? What we first encounter is really just the surface of things. At first, all we're really grasping are phenomena. The raw, unfiltered appearances of things. Just what's happening right there in front of us. And we see it all in pieces, as separate aspects. A face in the crowd, a single building on a street, a snippet of a conversation you overhear. It's all disconnected. The only connections we make are on the outside, the external relations. We see that these things exist next to each other, but we have absolutely no clue what deeper logic might actually be holding it all together. Okay, so let's make this a little more concrete. We can think of it as the visitor's illusion. It's that trap we all fall into on a first encounter. So imagine a team of investigators arriving in a new city, let's say Yenin. In those first few days, it's just a whirlwind, right? They see the layout of the streets, they meet dozens of people, they go to meetings, they hear gossip, they read official documents. They are just bombarded with direct experiences. But what do they actually know? Well, this whole initial phase, it actually has a name. It's the first and most basic stage of how we build knowledge. It's called the stage of perception. And this perceptual knowledge is exactly what our visitors in Yenon have. It's built from all those raw sense perceptions, all the impressions they leave in our minds. But here's the crucial part. We have to understand the limits of this stage. It's a totally necessary first step for sure, but it's fundamentally superficial. This chart really lays out the journey we all have to take to get to real knowledge. We all start on the left with that perceptual knowledge. It's superficial, it's one-sided, but the goal is to get to the right, to rational knowledge. That's where we start to grasp the essence, the totality, the internal logic of things. It's a huge leap from just having simple impressions to forming powerful concepts. So how do we make that jump? This isn't some slow, gradual slide. The source actually describes it as a sudden leap. And this is where it gets really exciting. This is the leap to reason. Rational knowledge is where true understanding really begins. It's not about just seeing the pieces anymore. It's about forming concepts that finally connect them, making judgments based on those connections, and then drawing logical conclusions or inferences about how the world actually works. So the path kind of looks like this. First, all those raw sense impressions, they have to be repeated over and over again through continued practice and engagement. Then, something just clicks. A leap happens inside the mind. And from that leap, concepts are born. Suddenly, our visitor to Yenon isn't just seeing disconnected events. They form a concept, like political strategy. And finally, using logic, they can make a judgment. Okay, this strategy is actually working. This quote really gets to the heart of it. It's like a two-way street. What you perceive feeds your comprehension, but then that comprehension turns around and sharpens your perception. Once you understand the concept of a political strategy, you start seeing evidence of it everywhere in ways you were totally blind to before. But hang on. How do we know if our rational knowledge is actually correct? How do we avoid just creating a complete fantasy in our own minds? Well, there's only one true test: practice. It's the ultimate reality check. This really drills down to the core idea. A theory is just a theory until it's tested in the real world. Practice is the only way to know for sure if your understanding actually lines up with reality. It's where ideas have to face that unforgiving test of immediate actuality. Think about it with this really simple analogy. You can read books about pears, you can look at pictures of them, you can listen to people describe pears all day long. But to truly know the taste of a pear, there is absolutely no substitute. You have to engage with it directly. You have to change its reality by eating it. Direct experience, practice, is where all genuine knowledge comes from. And the source material poses another simple but really profound question about how we get to this kind of knowledge. You just can't. You can't understand the tiger from a safe distance. Real knowledge requires you to get involved, to participate, and sometimes to take a risk. You have to actually enter the world of the thing you want to know. And this brings us to the final and, honestly, the most important step in this whole process. knowledge isn't just for understanding, it's for acting. It's all about moving from knowing to changing. This is the ultimate purpose. It's not enough to just figure out the world. The whole point is to use that understanding to actively change it. Understanding the laws of society or of nature or of any problem is only half the battle. The real work begins when we apply that knowledge. I mean, think about it. A brilliant idea that just sits in a book or on a shelf, it's useless, right? Knowledge only finds its meaning, its significance, and its truth when it returns to practice and actually makes a difference. So we end up right back where we started, but with a totally new perspective. The world presents us with this shimmering surface, this illusion of first impressions. Now that we know the path from seeing to understanding and from understanding to acting, the real question isn't just what do you see? It's what are you willing to do to find out what's real?